Alright, guys, so we are back with episode 5 of The Last of Us. What did you think overall of this one?
It was a pretty good episode.
Yeah.
A lot happened, actually, in this one. We had some really cool, I guess, action sequences. Mm-hmm. And then we had some really sad sequences. So
Yeah, that is true.
yeah, it was like a roller coaster.
I have to just point out, I didn't notice this until like the second viewing of the last episode, and it kind of makes sense too because they kind of already say it in this episode. But when Sam has his gun over Joel, you can see down the barrel and there's no bullets in the gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when he's like this and it zooms in and it gives you like that shot of the gun first and then it focuses on his face. You don't see any bullets in the chamber at all. I didn't notice it until after the fact, but then obviously in this episode. Either way.
It was a revolver?
Yeah, well, he had a revolver, and yeah. But either way, I enjoyed it. There's like he said, there's a lot of action, especially towards the end. It just gets kind of crazy. I really enjoyed it. I can't really reference the game against this, so I'm just going to go straight off the actual show. And I just, I loved it. Yes, there's sad parts. But overall, I think the show is doing a good job.
Yeah, well, it's not a happy game, so
yeah, I have seen at least kind of up until this. I've seen some random playthroughs and stuff like that just to kind of get a perspective. Even though you guys saw the last episode, I put a clip from the game in there too. So it's not. It's a dark game. People are dying left and right. So I'm setting myself up to like, oh, cool. Joel and Ellie have a friend. They're probably dead.
It's like Game of Thrones all over.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Everybody that jumps into the picture and you're like, oh, cool, I'm rooting for you. Nah, he's dead. Next episode, you're dead.
Yeah.
Either way, so we both liked it, which I'm sure you guys did too. The show's ratings are ridiculously good. But let's get into spoilers. We're going to go over, what the show did, what the video game did, kind of the differences, and just more of a detailed, in-depth look at what this episode is. So the beginning of the episode, you kind of get a backstory of Sam and Henry and kind of what they've been going through. They're already kind of on the run. They're going through buildings here and there, and they're meeting with the doctor, which we saw in the last episode. We kind of already know his fate, but they meet with him, and he kind of shows them that little attic where, they are staying for the time being. And, obviously they kind of progress. They give you some character moments between those two. And then Sam kind of at one point says, where's the doctor at? Isn't he bringing food for us? And obviously we all know as an audience that he's already captured and he's probably already dead. But in the show, obviously they don't know that, so they're just kind of holding out hope that, he's going to come. And you can kind of see it in Henry's face where he's just like, it's been a while. I don't think he's going to come. He probably isn't. He's probably dead, but
yeah, they run out of food, so
yeah.
He can't wait any longer.
Yeah, and then obviously they hear the commotion that Joel makes after he's trying to weave through all these people attacking him, throwing rocks and cinder blocks and all of that. He basically sees what happens in the episode prior, where he runs into it, starts killing the guys. So he kind of thinks to himself, "Hey, this guy can hold his own. He can get me out of here." So that's kind of where we lead up to. And obviously, Sam and Henry.
Yeah, and we get a lot of backstory with Kathleen as well.
Yeah, that is true.
About who her brother was, for one, and the reason why she's so pissed off at Henry. Yeah,
because literally last episode, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, like this guy's got to have done something terrible or whatever, and obviously his motives for, what he did and why he did it, they make sense. Yeah, you probably threw somebody else under the bus, but,
yeah,
it is what it is. You got to survive.
Yeah, it's apocalypse, so.
Yeah. So then either way, we get up to kind of that moment where we ended the last episode with, the guns in their faces, and that's kind of where we jumpstart more of the action and kind of like them getting to actually know each other and build those bonds, which, yeah.
I think they did a pretty good job. Not,
Yeah.
I mean, Henry and Joel, they just become acquaintances, really.
Yeah.
But you really see Ellie and Sam getting along, and so then Joel and Henry are hanging out, talking, and we learn about why Henry turned in Kathleen's brother, which was leader of the resistance, to Fedra in order to secure some leukemia medicine, right?
Yeah.
Because Sam has leukemia and he needed the medicine to survive. So, and then, Kathleen is already mad about people that are turning in others. So Kathleen is already mad at the collaborators, and then she has her brother turned in and killed. And then we learn why she's so pissed.
Yeah.
We really don't learn why everybody listens to Kathleen.
Yeah, it doesn't really go in depth with, like, I guess, like, the one guy was like, yes, she's seen some shit or something like that.
Well,
So,
she's telling the story to the co-leader guy,
Yeah.
I guess. And she's saying, like, oh, he was the leader that everybody loved. And he just makes a comment of, yeah, everybody loved him, but you're the one that made a difference. But we don't know what that was,
Yeah,
or
it doesn't make
there's
sense.
no additional context.
Yeah.
So, like, I really like that they're adding all these different storylines and backstory, but I felt like this was a little weak. Like, this whole character, like, I understand, a little bit about the point of view.
I mean, they really didn't give her a lot of time to even develop at all, honestly.
Yeah, they would have had to show us what she did to gain all these people's trust.
Yeah, we would have had to basically do, like, what The Walking Dead did and have an entire episode just on the backstory of one character. And we all know how that happened and why The Walking Dead isn't happening anymore, because everybody started to hate that. So...
They kind of did it with Frank.
yeah, but that was just a love story. That's all it was. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was alright, I guess.
Well, anyways, now we know. And so they start talking about how they're going to get out, and Henry reveals that there is a tunnel system that they use to trap all the infected in. And I guess at some point, Fedra went in and cleared all the infected out from a trusted source that worked with Fedra.
Yeah, he kind of... Joel's sitting there thinking, like, oh shit, like, why are we gonna go down in here if that's where literally they pushed every infected? And he was like, well, I know a guy who knows a guy who told me one time that these tunnels are safe and we can go through them. And they're just like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I guess they didn't really have another choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I guess maybe he trusted her. Maybe he was just like, all right, I just want to get out of the city.
Yeah, it was his only way out that he knew about.
Yeah.
So, and that's with, like, a main departure of the game versus the show. In the game, the goal is get to a radio tower, and then they're supposed to radio out to
The Fireflies, right?
the Resistance,
Yeah.
and then go meet up with them. And you actually you end up in a tunnel in the game, but the whole scene where you're running out is not in tunnels and stuff. It's just running through buildings and...
Yeah. So then they're like, all right, screw it, let's go. Let's get in these tunnels. We need to get out of here. They get down, and I don't know if it's really halfway or if it's just like a stopping point, because it's kind of where it looks like people have lived, and they kind of hold up.
Well, it's like a bomb shelter they find.
Yeah, because everybody wanted to go underground, so especially with everything happening, so it makes sense. So they get down to the bomb shelter, and they're kind of just Henry's, hey, that's looks pretty nice here, no infected. Let's just stay here for the night. And Joel kind of thinks to himself, I think we should keep going, but obviously, Ellie and Sam are really kind of playing around and playing. I think there's soccer because there's like a goal on one of the walls or something like that. So yeah. So I mean, kids being kids.
I think it was when they went in the tunnels. It was daytime, like at the morning, right? So they were just waiting until it was dark again.
Okay. So yeah, so they're basically staying there overnight. I guess, if you want to say. And then that's kind of where you get more character building, and you get Joel and Henry talking, and then you have Sam and Ellie talking, and
yeah, and this whole part, like I said, later in this scene in the game, you end up going into a tunnel, and it's very similar how it plays out. Honestly, in the game, it's a bit nicer because, well, I guess not nicer, but you learn the backstory about the people that lived in the tunnel, and it's quite depressing.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I'd be depressed if I lived in a tunnel too, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, they get holed up, and then they send people out for food, and they never come back because they get stuck outside. But then the people inside, I guess one infected got in, and then they started going rampant in there. And so they all holed up into one room, and the dad ended up shooting the family and then himself so they didn't get turned. And then you find a note from the people that went outside talking about how torn up they were, that there's no way that they can get back in there.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know, and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
That's the whole theme of
well,
the
yeah,
game,
the
honestly.
show in general. But my God, that's extra.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that's extra. It wasn't even in the show.
Yeah, no, it's not extra. It's the core material.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
So, anyways, they decide, let's get out of here because it's dark outside again. And so they make their way out through the tunnels. And in the game, there's infected in the tunnels still. So
they gotta like work their way around them and kill them and stuff like that.
Yeah, but in the show, they just get right out. There's no infected for some reason, like 0.
Yeah.
Which is kind of shocking.
There is.
There
They're
is.
just somewhere else.
I don't know where.
Yeah, I don't know what tunnel that they're going to come out of, but
yeah.
They were in one of those tunnels.
Yeah.
They just lucked out that the guy knew that one tunnel was clear.
One section.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get out and they start making their way through a neighborhood, and they start getting attacked by a sniper.
Yeah, and the sniper is the sniper a lookout for like the resistance or the rebellion or whatever they're calling themselves?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because you hear him on the radio.
Oh yeah.
In the show, you hear him on the radio. In the game, you don't get that context, but it still kind of seems the same because after Joel comes around and takes out the sniper, this truck comes crashing through. Throughout the game, there's this truck chasing you through the city that you're running away from. There's no character, there's no Kathleen or anything, but it's kind of a similar scenario. They're just chasing you because I don't know why they're chasing them, to be honest, and it never really tells you.
Yeah,
they're just hunters.
Maybe that's why they had to, or they wanted to put this in, was at least to give them a reason to be like, oh, we're pissed at you because of this, instead of they're just kind of chasing them to chase them.
Yeah, they're just like scavengers or something in the game.
Yeah,
they don't want to let them go for some reason.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of sketchy, but
yeah. But this whole scene is just like the game, and then you see in the show Kathleen and her crew come crashing through with their vehicles.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah. And Joel ends up sniping the driver, right? And the car veers off on the side and crashes it into a house. And then there's this whole standoff moment where Henry's going to turn himself in, and Ellie and Sam are going to run away. And then the truck starts sinking into the ground. And
this is where the fun starts.
Yeah, this is where all the action is.
Yeah.
And then infected and clickers start coming out, and then we get to see the bloater for the first time.
Yeah, that is true. That boy's thick too.
He's huge.
Yeah. I thought it was an awesome kind of way to reveal it, which again, like I said before, it was spoiled. I saw what it looked like, but just seeing him in action, like kind of crawling out of the actual ground and literally just grabbing people and tearing them apart, like I was like, okay. I mean,
yeah, he ripped heads off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say this: the one thing that I don't know was weird to me was when the clicker, like the little girl clicker, is chasing Ellie, and so they're blind. They can only hear. There's gunfire going off all around them over here
I
and
was
stuff.
thinking that too. Like, how are the clickers honing in on people?
Yeah, because like she literally just jumped in a car and like hung out there, but everybody else is shooting everywhere else. So you'd think they'd sprint towards that, but she was like, "Nah, I think Ellie's in here. Like I'm gonna chase her."
Yeah.
Like it was a cool, suspenseful scene, but like it just I don't know that threw me off. It was just kind of funny to. There's so much shots and stuff like that over here in the foreground, and the clicker's just like, no. I think there's an important main character in here. Yeah.
I gotta climb in the van.
Yeah, I think I gotta follow this random little baby noise, maybe because she made like a little chirp or, she, whatever it was. She was like, nah, Ellie's over here, I gotta go attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, but, I mean, it's, again, suspenseful scene. They do it for the show. They do it for, the audience to kind of keep an edge out. And obviously, what ends up happening, Joel shoots him with the sniper, right?
No, Ellie jumps out and shuts the door, and the thing gets stuck in the car.
Oh, for some reason I thought he shot him.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Not the kid.
So,
no, because the kid comes back.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, so then Ellie gets out of the van and sees that Sam and Henry are being attacked. They're underneath the car, and they got two clickers trying to pull them out.
Yeah.
And so she goes to help them. And the whole time we get the Joel sniper support, which is what you do in the game too, which is a fun scene to play through.
Yeah.
It's a little different because in the game, you kill the resistance guys, the hunters that are coming out.
Resistance, Rebellion, one of those two.
Yeah.
I mean, spoilers, but we don't really need to care about them anymore. So.
Yeah, that's true. But then I guess the gunfire or something attracts the infected, and eventually the infected start running at them as well.
Yeah.
And then they just all come together and they run through a fence and they're good to go. It's kind of strange how they got away so easily.
Yeah.
But anyways, the show is a bit different. I really like that the bloater wasn't like the main thing.
Yeah, like
it came out.
It was just the background.
Wreaked havoc.
Like you saw like it was like a nice landscape shot of like almost the entire thing. Yeah. And like you see infected tackling people left and right. When you see the bloater over here, just like I got you.
Throwing
I'm gonna rip you apart. I'm gonna rip your head off. Like
yeah. Well, I just like that it didn't turn into like we have to take this bloater down kind of thing. Yeah, because
like it wasn't like a big baddie that like okay, well it's a video game, so let's do this. We'll throw Molotov cocktails at this dude and hit him with a brick. So I watched a little bit of the gameplay, and there's one guy that just was on point with these Molotov cocktails and just beating people with bricks. So it was just funny to me. Like, this guy didn't fire a shot. He's really good, apparently.
Yeah.
But either way, let's get into the finale-ish of this episode. So then we're going to get into, the end-ish of the episode before, we get all the heartbreak right at the end. It's just, I don't know, this scene kind of seemed like it was, played out a little longer than it should have. And I feel like a couple people probably could have died. So you get Kathleen, she's got her gun pointed at, all the main characters, all the good guys. And she's like, oh, you turned in my brother's dead because of you, blah, blah, blah. She's giving this whole, villain spiel. Like, if you got a gun, put it on him, just shoot him, you're going to kill him. But then, like he said, the little girl clicker comes in, literally just jumps on her, starts gnawing her, just annihilating her. And then, boom.
Yeah, they all run.
Just like that. It's like...
That was a cool scene, though.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was like a horror movie scene.
Yeah, it was awesome to look at. But I feel like from when she started talking to when the clicker jumped on her, it was like a whole monologue that she could have just been like, bam, you're dead.
Again, there was still gunfire going on.
Yeah.
and the clicker followed them out there.
Yeah, and the clicker was just like, oh, you guys got to live through this episode? All right, I'll get this other girl. I got Kathleen, don't worry.
I guess she was the only one talking at that moment. So.
Yeah, so it's nice that they put a face to the villain of in the game where, like he said, it's just kind of a group of people. You don't really get backstory, you don't really get anything about them, And it was nice that they tried to do that, but obviously within 2 episodes and really not getting a lot of airtime, it's hard to kind of give you a backstory and make you, I guess, maybe not feel for the character, because she kind of was just a terrible person overall.
That's another thing. They like briefly went into how Kansas City Federal was like the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And they like raped and pillaged and abused the people that lived there.
Yeah.
And that's really all we got. We didn't get any examples, which would make you feel more for Kathleen. And
yeah, it would give you
it'd
make you feel like she's a villain, but you can kind of see her side. She's more like a sympathetic, you
like
can,
a redeeming arc.
Yeah, like you can think to yourself like, okay, she's terrible, but she had the right idea in mind, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we kind of picked at last episode too, where, sometimes the people in the regime that takes over definitely is not better at all than the one before, but they just kind of think they are, almost. But either way, you don't really get much of a backstory, and then it's like that, she's dead, so. But either way, now we're going to get into the heartbreak. So this is the sad part, or sadder part of the episode.
So then after all of that, and Kathleen ends up getting killed by a clicker, they run away and find, I guess, a house or something to lay low and get some rest for the night.
Motel 6.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because they'll leave the lights on for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so Joel and Ellie and Henry are kind of chatting a bit, and then Ellie ends up giving them some space to like hang out and be friends, because they've actually gotten to get to know each other a bit, and
they were like mentioning to each other too, like, yeah, maybe we could just team up and like we could do this together, kind of thing. Yeah,
because earlier on he kind of mentions that, and he's like, nah, I think it's best if we just part ways.
Yeah,
but now they're considering moving on together, which would be great because now they have more people in their squad.
Yeah.
So anyways, Ellie goes into the room and starts talking with Sam, and there's a whole, I guess, emotional moment where Sam's asking Ellie, how are you not scared ever? And she's basically just like, yeah, I'm scared all the time. Like,
yeah, just doesn't show it.
Yeah, she's just good at not showing it, I guess. And then that's when Sam brings up the question, I'm scared of, if you get turned, are you stuck inside like the brain while this fungus takes over the body? And that's when we find out that Sam got bit on the ankle.
That's kind of like a horrifying, like, especially if like you're infected, but like you can kind of still see what your body's doing, but you can't control it, kind of thing.
Yeah. But I think that one episode where Ellie cut open the head and the fungus just came out. I think it really shows us that the fungus just like fills up the body.
It just takes over.
And they just become puppets. And then you see the bloater, like, no person is that huge. So like the fungus just becomes its own thing.
Yeah,
I guess using maybe the organs to continue on or whatever. But so and then we find out Sam got bit, and he got bit on the ankle, so we know that takes a day, right?
Yeah.
For him to turn. And he asks Ellie to stay up all night with him, and she's like, yeah, of course I will. And she shows him her arm, how she got bit, and it healed. And she just kind of explains that I have the cure in my blood, so she cuts her hand and puts her hand on his ankle, hoping that her blood will seep in and fix the infection.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you would think as a kid, like, oh, I have the cure right here, like I can just put it right on there and kind of put my cure into your body and you're good. Yeah,
and it kind of goes on par with kind of the theme of the kids in this whole episode of where they're reading comic books about superheroes, and Sam is super into superheroes. Yeah. And so in that moment, Ellie's like playing a superhero and trying to cure him. Yeah. So... And then they're gonna be up all night, and Ellie ends up falling asleep, and wakes up to Sam sitting on the bed, just like looking out the window.
Yeah, I thought this was a good Because, I mean, we know that he's deaf, and obviously clickers are the ones that can't see but can hear, but because he's deaf, that's why, you know, he didn't walk around or look and go after Ellie when she was sleeping, because he couldn't hear her behind him. So I thought that was like a cool little like aspect of that, and of showing like, oh, he's deaf, so he still would just be sitting there kind of still until something startled him.
Yeah. That, I mean, and you also kind of wonder, like, did Ellie cure him?
Yeah, that is true, because he's not like twitching or anything like that.
Yeah,
he's literally
just sitting there looking out the window. So
yeah, that's true.
So she walks up and is like, Sam, are you okay? And he turns his head real fast, and he's got the glazed over eyes, and he just jumps on her. And then they shoot through the doorway, and this is like a terrible moment. And Joel goes to get his gun to shoot Sam off of Ellie, and Henry ends up stopping Joel, and then he shoots Sam himself. And then
he does it quick too. Like he almost doesn't hesitate. But I think that's
he knows he knows.
Yeah, but I think that's the whole reason like he ends up shooting himself and anyways, is because he does it so quick that he doesn't realize what he did.
Oh, yeah.
So then when he steps back and realizes like what he actually did and what I did is that's the only thing he can think of is to shoot himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, he lived for Sam.
Yeah, like that was his main thing, was to protect him and get him out of the city.
Yeah.
So, especially him actually doing the deed for Sam, and so, and I know right before he killed himself, Joel was trying to talk him out of it, and hey, this isn't your fault, like this, because I think he didn't say it was Joel's fault at one point, or like he tried to blame Joel?
In the game, he does, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the game, he starts telling Joel it's his fault, and Joel's just trying to get him to put the gun down.
Yeah. Even in the show, too, he's trying to calm him down a little bit.
Yeah. And he's trying to get him to put the gun down.
Yeah. And he literally
because he knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, turns it to himself, and
yeah, kills himself.
That's all she wrote.
I mean, I would probably do the same thing if I was in that situation.
So,
yeah.
And I mean, that's it, right? That's the kind of just go straight to credits after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only additional thing is Sam's not deaf in the game.
Yeah.
Which, I guess, in the show, it kind of creates more emotion.
Yeah, because it's
more compassion and
and Sam's more reliant on Henry. Like, if he's deaf, he's like, especially too when they were showing it when he was walking on glass making noise, but he didn't know any better.
Yeah,
because he couldn't hear the glass, and Henry kind of had to stop him. So it shows like he's more dependent on him. So basically, if Henry's gone, Sam's kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good addition. They didn't really need to do it, but it seems like that's, at least to me, that's where their head was at on why they made him deaf. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And just I guess kind of humanizes the whole situation, because there are deaf people.
Yeah.
And deaf people could easily be like surviving, or
Yeah.
And I don't know about leukemia. Maybe leukemia made him deaf. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I don't know the details behind all of that, and if it could or not, which I'm, very well could, but
yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
It ended quite sad.
Yeah, I feel like everything in this show ends quite really sad.
It's the theme of The Last of Us.
Yeah. So either way, let's get off that sad topic and let you know that you can like this video, you can subscribe, you get the bell notification, you can even leave a comment down below letting us know if you like the video, if you like the show so far, if was this your favorite episode? Leave everything down below. Let me know, if there's things that we missed or we messed up, let me know, by all means.
Do you think they're butchering the game?
Yeah, that is true.
I think they're adding a lot of backstory, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they're taking away from anything.
Yeah, I think they're adding certain things here and there, but the overall narrative of the game is still kept intact. We will see you in the next video, episode 6, next week. See you guys later. All right, just one thumbs up. Let's go. It's Super Bowl Sunday, so one thumbs up.
Yeah.
Go, I think Kansas City won. Yay, Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes. Yay.
Yeah.
See you later.
I don't know.
Wow. All right, see you later.